Most people are about 20% weaker than they think they are. They've gotten very used to the bouncy gym strength, just absolutely catapulting themselves out of the bottom and riding a wave of momentum instead of really controlling every position in a movement. So today we are going to go over all things pause lifts, Anderson lifts, pin lifts, and we're going to talk about the value about training from an absolute cold start. So let's talk about these pause, pin, and Anderson movements and what ties them together. And that is the elimination of what is called the amortization phase. And that's just gym nerd talk for when you go down and come back up, that's gone. And the reason that that's relevant is twofold. One, when you're transitioning from the negative and reversing it, as in maybe you're in a squat and you're dropping down and coming back up, your body uses something called a stretch shortening cycle, which is essentially it's literally using your tendons like a rubber band snapping back. And the second one is that you have a neural priming component to it as well. Your body or your brain almost has a chance to kind of prepare for the movement on the way down, which, with in combination of that stretch shortening cycle, during that reversal stage, it allows you to bump the weight up with much more force that is not necessarily generated through just pure contractile force of the muscles. And what the pins, the pauses, and the Anderson lifts do is that they eliminate that ability to trampoline off of your ligaments and your tendons. Is you have to wedge yourself into the crappy bottom position, the part of the movement where you don't want to be and that everyone wants to avoid, and just drive out of that bottom. These lifts work and are so useful because they're so hard. As you get stronger at these incredibly difficult variations, your standard lifts are going to get stronger. As you make your pin back squat 20 pounds heavier than it was before, that is a substantial carryover and increase in force production and positional awareness that you gain on the normal back squat. Now, there are a couple of more sciencey reasons as to why these variations are so potent. And that's, for one, rate of force development. Since you don't have that bounce at the bottom of a hole, you're overcoming a dead stop. You have to overcome a significant amount of inertia, and that is going to require a significant amount of force on your end. And not only is it going to require a lot of force, it's going to require a lot of force to be developed quickly. And that's the biggest differentiator. Instead of just forklifting and grinding yourself through a rep, you actually have to be able to go from 0 to 100 very fast. Otherwise, you just get stuck at that sticking point and you miss the rep. Your ability to produce force explosively massively increases. Your ability to contract a high threshold motor unit increases. Your ability to accelerate a weight increases, which carries over once you no longer are limited by the dead stop and the pin variation, and you can reintroduce that bounce. Another component of it is the positional awareness and the mobility that you develop. Now, when you're doing a pin movement, it's often very easy to lose the groove, and that could be seen, for example, in a squat. When you're in the bottom and you're driving that weight up, it's very easy to sway back and forth because you're not applying the force as efficiently as possible. The pin movements and the pause movements punish this behavior. Once you start swaying on a pin movement or an Anderson lift, you've lost. You've lost the lift. You have an extremely narrow margin of error for your bar path. Your bar path has got to be grooved in. Your ability to maintain posture and rigidity under load has got to be grooved in. You can't let your back arch. You can't let the weight drift forward or back. So once you do come back to the standard lift, not only are you able to produce more force, but you're also significantly more efficient. You have better posture, you have a better brace, you have better positional awareness throughout the course of the lift. And it also increases your mobility as you teach yourself to be strong in the weakest position at the bottom of lift or at a sticking point. Once again, you take those constraints away, your body and your brain has learned how to handle the weight in these bad positions, which means once you come back, you've essentially just upgraded your entire lift and positional awareness and strength development in that position, in that lift, which is just going to mean that you're going to be lifting more weight. So, you should give the pause, the pins, and the Anderson lifts a shot. The worst thing that's going to happen is that you're going to be a little bit weaker in the variation. If you have bad mobility because you've been trampolining out of all of your lift, then you're going to be really weak in these variations, in which case, brother, you really need these lifts. And who cares if you're a little weaker? It's like, what is it? Oh, all the gym huzzes are going to see me lifting 50 pounds less on the squat. You shouldn't be lifting for the huzzes anyways. You should be lifting for your neighbors, bro. You should be lifting to glorify God. Don't think about the huzzes. The Lord wants to see you humble yourself, because God hates pride above all things. The Lord also loves a contrite and humble heart. So, swallow your pride, wedge yourself into that crappy position, and go get stronger.